And we're back. Our second game of our third best of three of the evening. I tell you what, it already looks a little bit familiar, at least in terms of the heroes we're seeing. We'll touch on that in a moment. Want to welcome each and every one of you in. And if this is our last game of the night, want to thank you for being a part of the broadcast and issue one last, well, I'm sure I'll do it again, but one next to last reminder, at least next to last, something like that, that the Western Division play here in the HyperX D2L gets underway coming up in just a few hours, really. It's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That'll kick off, and all details about that can be found on d2l.gg. For now, though, Vici leads this best of three, 1-0 over Team DK, stunning them in very impressive fashion in game number one, and snagging up their Pugna once again. They got a clockwork to go with it. DK, I'll tell you what, they are not ashamed to go back to the well, even if it's a dry well, or at least it seemed dry last time they tried to pump it. To break down why that matters and give you all the other inside analysis, once again, welcome in Ben Merlini-Wu. And Ben, I'll tell you what, Vici had no problem shutting down Ice and his Invoker in game one.
This is the exact same opening as last game.
Yeah.
Does DK feel that confident? They're like, hey, well, we can just turn things around. Like, what could they have done differently? Park Earthshaker top would have been different. That's pretty much the only thing. I guess it would have prevented like a little bit of the first blood and Park CM there, but I don't know. I don't really like CM and Shaker as like defensive. They're more like offensive supports or farming supports. They're not like, I don't know. I'm kind of torn as to what DK is thinking right now. What do you think they think? They was like, oh, that was a fluke? Like, it didn't look like a fluke. Vici just like ripped them a new one.
Yeah, I don't think it was a fluke at all. And it's one of those things, and you as a former professional Dota player probably have certainly do have a lot more insight into it than I do. But when I look at this, it's almost like they're drafting. I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it. It's like they know Earthshaker is strong and the teams like them and they know why he's strong. But even though he was used and abused by Vici, and even though Vici proved that they know how to use and abuse an Invoker, they just look at it. They just really like that combination. And, you know, maybe it's hubris. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just them saying, nah, you know, Vici was good, but we won't let that happen again because we know what went wrong. And they're willing to go back to it. But that's making the assumption that Vici is not going to be able to think along those lines as well. And, you know, it's the exact same thing that we talked about. Vici right now is wide open. They can draft any kind of a lineup they want around a Clockwork and a Pugna, and it's usually going to work. And in fact, like the Anti-Mage worked out better than anyone could have guessed. I still stand by the idea that I think a Luna would have been better. And hell,
same thing. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you need to differ?
Exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yep, and it's even like similar bans. They ban out AA in case like they want to pick up an Alchemist instead. Like DK bans out a Rubik instead of a Chen, but they ban out the Dragon Knight too. So like, I mean, if you lose, it wasn't even like a close game.
No,
like, it was just not even close. I mean, from like 10,000 gold, you're like, okay, well, Anti-Mage is getting out of hand. They're probably going to win, and then. Like after that, DK has to start going back to the drawing board. You can just like play it out if you need more time to think, but it was pretty much over at that point. So at least they're doing something different with Lion, but Lion gets absolutely destroyed by Pugna, like just massacred, and Invoker gets destroyed by Pugna, and Clockwork destroys Earthshaker.
Right.
Like, I wish there were a stats man here, and I could just like Clockwork just like owns Earthshaker like almost every time that I've seen it, and there's like no chance. He just hook shots, he battery assaults, and Earthshaker can't even cast Fissure or enchant. He just can get off Echo, but it's useless because it's only a Clockwork and a Cogs. So like that's just the easiest way to lose a team fight.
Yep.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't know. I don't know what is it. Hubris? Is it plain inexperience? I don't think it's that.
No, it's not that, certainly.
Or is it just super next level stuff? They're like, man, we're going to bait Vici into picking the same lineup, but we're actually going to destroy them even harder.
Well, I'll tell you what they ought to ban right now. I don't care what they pick here. If DK doesn't ban Leshrac, they're out of their mind. Because Shadow Demon, if they manage to make Rubik Leshrac work, they're going to make Shadow Demon Leshrac work.
Yeah, I think DK should ban it out. It's the most obvious pick from Vici Gaming. They need another support, and they're running almost the exact same thing as last game. There's no reason for them not to pick it. What other support can they pick that duels as a good push? They can pick Chen. That's one of the problems with DK. They didn't ban out Chen as well as the Leshrac. So if they ban Leshrac, take Chen. If they ban Chen, take Leshrac. Well, they'll just take Leshrac anyways.
Yeah.
So, but for DK, what do? Like, okay, so Alchemist, Mushi pretty much did everything that he could. Like, he really couldn't have played that much better that game. Earthshaker, whatever, he's already in the pool. Invoker already in the pool too. Lion. So we're missing one support, which they had Crystal Maiden,
Right.
and so they had Crystal Maiden Shaker, and this game they're doing with Lion +1, and then they need a solo mid for Mushi.
Right.
So Shadow Fiend would get punished by roaming too. If they do Shadow Demon Lash again, he's just going to get destroyed over and over.
Yep.
So like,
10 seconds.
I'd
They
like
can
a
pick-
Viper pick. I really would. Like seeing something like a Viper to come out, they're going to go with the Weaver. Burning has been playing a lot of Weaver in D2L and elsewhere. And think about Weaver. I mean, obviously, they don't have a ton of lockdown for him. I mean, being able to disrupt him is fine. Demonic Purge certainly helps out a little bit coming off the Shadow Demon. But
he sucks versus push though.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like at this point, Vici's just going to be able to get all their guns going for it and dare them to fight. And like you said, Lion just kind of gets pooped on by Pugna. Invoker, we saw how well they dealt with that, and he's not a great hero against Pugna to begin with. And I got to admit, man, you've converted me. You said Clockwork Earthshaker was a bad matchup, and we have seen it in action multiple times tonight. That's
Too
just
many
not a good.
times,
Yeah,
to
it's
be
just
honest.
it's just not a good matchup. And
Okay, they're smart. At least they banned Lasher
There
Good job, TK. I think that's. The thing is, they can actually vary up lanes too. I think they can put Invoker in the off lane because they'll expect Vici will probably do something similar. Pugna mid, Clockwork safe lane, Anti-Mage in the offensive triple lane or offensive lane with a dual roaming core.
Yep.
So if they put Weaver instead, Anti-Mage doesn't really do that well versus Weaver, and he's not going to be able to get a solo kill most of the time, anyways. So and Invoker could probably get levels against a
10
Clockwork,
seconds
and he
remaining.
probably shouldn't die either if he tries to close the distance. You can just cold snap or
5 seconds
tornado
remaining.
or just EMP, any of those three, and you should be able to like do decently in their lane. And I like Invoker in the off lane versus the Potom in the off lane. Like if Invoker had the same amount of farm that Potom did last game, he can escape a lot more ganks. He can force stab people out of Clockwork cogs, etc., etc. But like if you go Midas, you're just gonna lose all the fights. So it looks like Lino will be the last support. So this is like almost exact same thing last game, except they have slightly less push potential.
Yep. The Lena obviously helps out considerably with the Weaver, at least in terms of trying to burst him down, especially after he time lapses if you're able to catch back up with him. This is all going to be about roaming once again. To tell you the truth, I still feel the same way about these lineups as I did in game one. It's easy to jump on the bandwagon after watching Vici just destroy DK in game one. But the truth is, they still have a harder lineup to execute. They don't have all that much room. Their damage output is going to be very situational. When you look at DK, they have a lot of ways they can do damage in an AoE. They have a lot of single target damage, and they're going to grab a Tiny. That adds even more early fight potential to their lineup.
Tiny?
Yep, that's Mushi.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I missed the solo mid Tiny. This is gonna be good.
Gonna be good. And but yeah, I mean, up against the Pugna, it's easy to understand why they'd want to go ahead and grab a Tiny. And I think that shores up one of the big problems they had is once DK fell behind early, and you can't just count on Vici to come out and kill Ice 3 times in 6 minutes. Like you just are not going to be able to guarantee that. So if they can just stabilize, I still feel the same way about this as I did last game. DK stabilizes Vici. If they can keep Vici from executing this lineup as well as they would like in the first 20, DK's going to be in fairly good shape. Of course, Vici does have an Anti-Mage, so it's going to be more than just dodging the ganks. They have to make sure that as the mid-game dawns, especially if and when the Battle Fury comes out, that they prioritize killing off that Anti-Mage. They do have a fair amount of burst. They do have the ability to obviously disable him with Lion. That's one very nice thing the Lion brings is the Hex and the Earth Spike if they can just get on top of him. So MMY going to be a very key hero in this game for multiple reasons.
Yeah, he is super important. I also think that FY and Franmir, just as they were important in last 4 games that we've seen them play, super important this game. And since we don't have our stats man, I actually check on Dota Buff. Earthshaker, the Saber Initiator, lane support. Worst versus this month. Clockwork is number 1. I don't understand why people still pick it. I've been saying that matchup is just terrible for months. Maybe if it's like cast animation was a little bit better, it could be good, but he just can't get off Fissure. Anyways, ROTK, Mr. Clockwork here, already skilled up Cogs. Very unusual for people to skill up that early, but Cogs is a pretty safe choice. You can't really go wrong with it.
I'm sure he'll just be using it to manipulate the creep wave, get them all tucked into the trees and hiding out in the woods like they like to do. Doesn't look like we're going to have any early aggression. So how about we take a look at who's handling who? Mushi going to be handling our tiny big man, taking him to solo mid almost certainly. Lanham will be back on the Earthshaker with Invoker, played by Ice, who is going to be trying like all hell to avoid.
Look, they're doing Sailor mid. Wow.
Huh. That's actually a really smart play. You see the tiny, and you know that you're going to be able to get off to a phenomenal start. Yeah, I like that a lot. We'll catch up with that in a minute. Ice, who had a true cataclysmic disaster in game 1. Certainly going to be looking to have a better performance
He got
here.
like one kill.
Yeah, 1 kill, 1 and 7, something like that. Burning on our buggy dude. He'll be playing on Weaver with MMY playing on the Lion, who will certainly be an extremely important factor in this game. We're going to have ROTK on our clockwork this time around with Super back on the old Pugna. Shadow Demon is going to be played by Fenrir with FY handling the Lina, and Animage played again by Sylar.
Look how well prepared they are. They already sentry warded the camp so that Earthshaker can't pull. And I think you can actually like block over here and maybe do this. I think it's been done before. I'm not positive. Let's check Lanham. Yeah, he's doing this pool. So they're like one step ahead with the Ancient, but actually Lanham has different plans for this creep wave. And he only got 1 creep. That's a slight waste of clarity. But he has 6 on top.
Yep. Shadow Demon leads things off. There's the Nether Blast. Can they get Ice? MMY. Yep, there it is. Super blocking him out.
Oh my goodness.
Super body blocking to set up the Light Strike Array, and deja vu all over again. We've got our first blood on the board, and unfortunately, Ice back on the familiar end of it.
That's what MMY they're protecting him to.
Yeah.
Like, MMY, if he leaves the lane, like, Ice is just screwed.
Sylar, I'm interested to see how Sylar builds here. He's
Mushi has a Quelling Blade, so, like, it's very difficult for Sylar to last it, but I think he just builds 1-1-1 is fine.
Yep. 1 early point. Yeah, there we go. He finally placed his points. 1 early point in the mana break should be able to give a little harassment to Mushi, keep him from having his combo potential when the roaming potential does begin to show itself. But Vici, man, they continue to look damn good.
Yeah, Ice actually went for Blades of Attack first, which I don't know. I saw him go Boots first in the earlier DK match that he played today. It looks like they might be able to steal the Centaurs, but Fenrir may come up, though. They have to be super careful.
Fenrir
it's like
and
no experience for them, or no gold for them, rather.
Fenrir and FY right on top of them. Burning matching up against ROTK. He's going to have a fairly easy time of things, at least one would hope. We can see his mana is being burned down very consistently with the cogs, so his own escapability going to be a bit of a factor if they decide to roam down anytime soon. Currently, Mushi, though, dominating in mid on the solo mid Tiny, as you mentioned, with that Quelling Blade. Very little regen, but not really needing it up against Sylar at the moment.
Yeah, I think Sylar should pick up a Quelling Blade of his own. There it is, 63 damage versus 70, so Sylar should do okay in last. It should just be a farm fest there. I don't anticipate any dying. There's 1-1-1. Lanham does pick up an illusion room, but nothing too much there. ROTK, is he actually going to die if he gets blocked? I don't think so. If he had a TP scroll, definitely not. But if he doesn't, then potentially if he's at this low HP. But Lanham not even going for that. He's level 2 right now. It looks like he got this creep pull off, but Shaker 3 minutes in, this is like pretty much free farm for a Shaker too. So like if you're gonna do something like this, just run like Enigma or something or something like a Chen. They will just level up much faster.
Super already has his arc boots up. He's off to a great start, sitting at 10 CS. Mushi still leading the board though. Sylar, following the pickup of the Quelling Blade, has made up some ground. He's still being roughly doubled up by the Tiny. He's sitting at just about 8. However, the solo experience certainly a huge boon.
Ice about to get his first spell. And about to hit level 2.
There we go. And not a moment too soon as Fenrir falling all the way back. MMY is going to spot that out.
Oh, he is tanking the tower.
Wow. Oh, there's a Decrepify and the Cold Snap to follow it up. Only 1 proc on it, though. And they're going to continue to push here, and really, why not? I mean, they've got all the room in the world to do this.
Yep, they drew a lot of them away from the jungle too. They need a Basilius, I think, that they want to push. They're doing a really good job of pulling the creep wave too. Ice has plenty of regen with pool tangos as well as triple quads to his name. But FY and Fenrir are doing way better in the experience department. FY level 3, Shadow Demon almost level 3 too compared to MMY. He's level 3 as well, but Invoker really suffering, 2.5.
Lanham going to find himself a haste room. Let's see where he wants to head. He's going to loop around behind his own tower. Looks to take the safe path in and grabbing up his own tier 1 boots on the way. Going to try to maybe catch a squishy out. Here we go. Rushing past MMY. Nope, never mind. He's just going to drop a ward.
Oh, do we see a smoke gank about to happen? They have a smoke. They want to go up there to smoke just in case they happen to deserve rewards. So very smart play. Can they kill Mushi? I don't think so. Not when he has 120 mana at level 5. Boots and a stout shield. It's very low probability, so it looks like instead they will go to mid. Ice only has 1 person backing out. Super's pushing the wave into the tower. It's very, very bad. Lanham coming in from behind, but I don't think he's going to make it.
Here we go. Fenrir and FY are there. MMY going to be the target. Super's there. And the ward down, so even if they try to fight back, it's going to hurt quite a bit. They're hanging in. Now, beautiful fissure. Fenrir in trouble as Mushi arrives, throws out the avalanche, and FY next on the list. Caught with the enchant, buys a little bit of time, but one last auto attack from Ice makes that a 3-for-1 exchange. Pretty disastrous turn of events. Sylar benefiting a bit here in mid, going to get some tower damage done, but DK reacting quickly, not about to fall in a hole here of 2 games in a row.
Nice play by Mushi there, just really knowing when he needs to be there for a fight. Without him, it would have been probably 1-for-0, which is not too bad, but when you can turn that into a 3-for-1, that is just fantastic.
And there's a fissure. It's actually, the avalanche followed up, and the earth spike. Do they have the damage? The toss, and the hex after. They certainly do. Could not have chained it together any other way. If they had chained it any other way, if there had been any overlap at all, he would have blinked away. Instead, they make it 4-2 and killing off the Anti-Mage in the process. Well played.
ROTK needs a TP scroll. He needs to help out his team right now. They lost top pretty much. They lost mid after that, so they need help from their other lanes. Let Burning farm, whatever. Weaver will be Weaver. He's very annoying to kill. He's trying to get a rune on bottom, but instead it will be on top. Invoker, wow, very nice Cyclone.
There's a disruption. Traded for a hex, and now they're going to re-engage. Cold Snap onto the Frog, and FY might be in some trouble. Whiffs on the Light Strike array. They do end up getting one. Will they get MMY? Doesn't look like they will. Fenrir forced to run, and not going to pursue uphill, anticipating Super would be there. And
so Ice had a really bad start, but look at him now. He already has his phase boots, and that was just such a good tornado, just managing to pick up that regen rune. Their observer ward right here, I think they could place a more offensive observer ward. If they had vision of Ice, they certainly would not have let that happen.
Top tier 1 down to about half health. There's the Crepify onto Ice. Fenrir trying to get a disruption off, will not be able to catch him. He's going to tank a tower shot or 2, just the 1. But no reaction necessary. Ice playing a much more stable game of Dota. Doesn't look like he's in any mood to have a repeat of game 1. Mushi still sitting in really good shape. He and Burning are atop the CS board at 34 apiece. 31 for Burning out of this mid. And the farming Pugna working out so far. Super going to be working on the mech as he already has the headdress up. And looks like they're ready to push once again as they melt things down.
Yep, they have a ward behind tower too, so now they know if Ice has more support. He's been really spot on though with the tornadoes, just turning things around, delaying the pushes. Sylar is actually coming in on top because he wants to get this tower. I don't think they need him there. I guess just in case Mushi rotates, they have a little bit more firepower, and looks like the 5-man has already begun. Prior to 8 minutes, RTK has TP top.
Glyph's going to be popped. Ice doing some damage to Sylar. They've got the Nether ward down. A little right click. And here comes Mushi. There's the hook in as well. Sylar going to be tossed. Tossed back. Now they're trying to chase him down. ROTK right on Ice. Gets the cogs down. We'll be able to clean him up with the help of Sylar. Mushi got there, but this time around, Vici anticipating the rotation that was to come. Great initiation coming out of ROTK. Or, excuse me, coming out of, out of ROTK. Hooking in and managing to disjoint that entire chain of initiation DK had set up.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was only 3v5 up there. MMI was getting experience mid, and Burning just doing what Burning does. Free farming bottom. He has his bottle. 600 gold, so he's not very rich. He has the most CS in the game, but still not phenomenally farmed. Won't be a Midas anytime soon, or Lincoln's from him. Sylar, on the other hand, doing pretty well. 39 and 6 for him.
And in mid, ROTK forced to drop the cogs after being avalanche. But yeah, taking a look at Sylar, in pretty good shape. He's got his ring of health up now to go with his treads and poor man, so certainly going with the build that will allow him to do things like we just saw, show up in the lane and push if they feel like that's what they need to get them over the edge. For the most part, though, DK is maintaining their lead, but only just barely. You'll take a look at the gold. The gold has actually swung back in favor of Vici Gaming. The experience still slightly in favor of DK, but only by about 500. So Vici, after falling behind pretty solidly early, has played their way back to even.
Yep, they have stabilized.
And this is, the question I have with MMY is just how active is he going to be once he hits level 6? He's more than halfway there now. He's going to have that huge amount of burst. Does DK decide to try and just farm this out and play a little bit calm, or are they going to start to play a bit more aggressive across the board? You take a look at what Mushi's built so far. He's got his bracers up, he's got his phase up, and a bottle. This is a tiny that could do nothing but begin to gank and try to make space for Burning if they want.
And they need to make space for Sylar too. Sylar, they need to do the 4-on-1 thing again. The problem is DK is just much better at fighting right now with their mass AoE stuns. They have Impale, they have Earthshaker with Fissure, no Echo for quite some time. They have Tiny with that huge burst, and I think Tiny is a really good pick by them because like all these heroes besides Clockwork pretty much is going to die in a combo, and especially Anti-Mage +1. Like we saw him die like to the triple stun in mid, but once they start getting levels with that max level Hex, he is just going to be food.
Vici looking to make something happen in the jungle. Burning's going to wander right on top of him. There's a disruption. They have one sentry down already. Light Striker Ray is there. He's got time lapse. Another sentry goes down, and ROTK anticipated the time lapse, caught him with a hook. Could not ask for a better performance out of this Clockwork here in game number 2. They're going to force a mass reaction out of DK. They're under cover of smoke. That's going to be Ice, Ice, Ice +2. The 2 supports looking for some payback. Will they be able to initiate? Or will they simply try to hold the tower? That tower already down to about 3/4 health, waiting on Mushi to show back up now. And there's the rocket. They know the jig is up. Looks like they're going to go ahead and back. Nether ward is down, and ROTK caught by a fissure. No follow-up this time, though. EMP's off. There's a disruption, and the follow-up off on Ice, Ice, Ice. There's going to be an Earth Spike that caught a couple, and the Finger of Death doing what it does, turning people inside out. There's a good fissure that locks in ROTK right before he can make it around the bend. Mech gets him back up. Cogs go down. Burning might be able to finish him up, but Super using his last bit of mana. Nope, Sylar's there and ready to fight. Mana Void on the MMY doesn't get the job done. So Sylar coming down here. Nice shot. ROTK is playing unconscious. He is out of his mind. Hitting hooks, hitting rockets, and getting the job done. Make it 6-6, and VG still looking to take this tower.
Yeah, FY really close to level 6 too. That's going to be a big problem for Burning. He has 739 HP. That is just dead in one combo.
EMP off after the cold snap. They're unable to catch up with Sylar. The Nether ward is down again. Super with very little mana. Unable to really do much, and this might end up stalling. I feel like this might have been better for Vici if they'd just taken that last fight for what it was and left Sylar to farm.
I think it would. Oh, Super is just going to get.
Yep, there's the Hex to follow it up. Disruption on the Lanham. They do manage to clean him up. Another good hook! ROTK comes back in. Cleans up Ice, Ice, Ice. Burning trapped in as well. And ROTK gets himself a double kill, bringing down the Invoker off of another phenomenal hook. What a game he has put together. 6-0 in 12.5 minutes. And right now, DK has to be in panic mode. Has to be in panic mode. Burning walks right into it again. He's going to time-lapse out. But with time-lapse now on cooldown, he can't play nearly as aggressive. Lanham and Mushi hovering under the tower. ROTK is like a specter in the night who is simply a terror for this DK squad.
Yeah, if they drop the Pugna Ward, this tower is like for sure dead. They're going to find Lanham too. This is very, very bad for DK.
ROTK once again trying to track Burning down. He just knows where he is. In the meantime, they're going to track down Lanham. There's the Demonic Purge on the Mushi. There's the toss. Doesn't matter. Laguna Blade, Anti-Mage with the Mana Void to add another kill to their total. And Vici Gaming,
Burning.
They got him again. ROTK is indeed wicked sick. Never have truer words been spoken here in the D2L, at least by the announcer. I like to think I don't lie much. Vici Gaming has blown a game that was very close, wide open. 5,000 gold, roughly the lead right now, and they're pressuring the tier 2. Are you kidding me, man? And they're going to go in again. Hey, ROTK, he is human. He bleeds like the rest of us. He whiffs the hook. Doesn't matter. Gets the cogs down. In the meantime, DK looks for some revenge and will find it. Sylar going to be able to blink away, so maybe their eyes a little bit bigger than their stomach in terms of pushing that tier 2.
If that Pugna Ward were like over here, I think that Super needs to stop placing them in plain vision. He placed it like right here in bottom, just like right in plain sight. If he places it in the trees like smart players do, then they would just go so much better for the fights. Weaver just like picks it off and then Shikuchi's away. If they had a Pugna Ward a little bit closer, Earthshaker would have died there and it would have been 1-for-1 trade. ROTK has been playing very, very well though. Like I think very well is an understatement.
Yeah. Out of his mind is the terminology that comes to mind. He is, well, like I said, he did miss a hook there at the end, so he's not perfect. But at the same time, that bottom engagement went on and on and on. And every time he had his hook off cooldown, he was hitting it. He was finding his cogs. He was finding his rockets. And it really is deja vu all over again. We're 15 minutes in, my friend, and Vici just feels like they are able to set the entire pace of the game from here.
On bottom, ice.
Up, looks like the server tagged out, so go ahead and commentate it.
FY Lagunas for a kill. DK finds Mushi with another hook shot call. ROTK probably going to fall. Finger and Echo used to kill him, and looks like it will just eventually be a 1-for-1. Clockwork for Invoker. Meanwhile, on top lane, Siler facing it off for his Burning. Burning still 1,000 gold in his bank. He has power treads, but still very poor. Burning, yeah. He's trying to put pressure on top tower. Is at very high HP, though. Super gets a free tower mid. Tower count is now 3-1 in favor of Vici Gaming, and that should be Anti-Mage's Battle Fury right now. He has enough money for his broadsword. Just trying to clean up this creep wave.
Back in, just had a temporary disconnect. Very well done, as always, my friend. But 12-9, Vici gets a tower, and, of course, still leading in kills. That gold kind of jumping up and down a bit, but certainly in favor of Vici. The problem is, with an anti-mage on your squad, against a Weaver in particular, I mean, Weaver's going to farm hard. He's just not an anti-mage, though. He's never going to be an anti-mage. He's going to be elusive and tough to track down and kill, but this is a 16-minute Battle Fury that goes with treads and a poor man's. And, you know, at this point, it's the same we saw. Like, they can try to split push, or they can just try to play a little bit defensive. They have a great defensive team to begin with. Force DK to play from behind and put pressure on. ROTK right there. And going to walk right past him. It's just waddling on by, drops his cogs down Fenrir's
time lapse. If they hook shot him right now, he's dead.
And doesn't look like they're too terribly interested at the moment. Mushi trying to get something done at top. Here's Burning once again, likely to spot out ROTK. DK wants to take a fight. Siler right on the other side of the trees. ROTK caught out. EMP goes off, and he'll be hexed out. Here comes Burning to help seal the deal. Fisher there, and he disruption from Fenrir. They actually going to try to save him. There's a tornado, and he's still alive. He's going to go ahead and hook backwards. Decrepified ROTK is immortal. You can't kill him. Super. Caught out in front once again, and DK, despite actually tossing out Burning, got one kill. There's a Fisher from the low ground.
What a sick toss by Mushi there.
That was a sick toss. Took a play like that to finally kill him off and tossing ice that time. He's going to disrupt himself, but that's a 4-0. And Siler, in the meantime, said, no, it's fine. I like breathing. I'm not going to go die like the rest of my team. I'll just farm and then teleport away. But looks like they will get the tier 1. So DK, man, counter-punching, giving as good as they're getting.
That was a very bad place for them to fight up here. They're like trying to fight like uphill near a choke too. That's just perfect for Earthshaker. You can block them out. Perfect for a line stun like Impale. Perfect for tiny stun toss combo. It's just they can't fight right there. It's good at stationary places that are good, but not choke. Siler looks like he's gonna get picked off.
Siler hesitated a bit there and may well end up dead and will. That's kind of a goofy death. He looped around, and it was good movement by DK to track him down, but he definitely hesitated in what direction he wanted to go and ended up paying the price.
Pretty much 5-0 for them.
Yep.
So DK completely turned this game around. It looks like Goldie probably back down to like 1,500, 2,000 after that. So Vici with a very good lead, but excellent play by DK, bringing them right back into the game. And Vici has control of Roshan right now. I think they should probably start doing that. And just really good movement by DK, getting here to the hill first. That was just so important by them. Looks like they're all huddled around the pit. Anti-Mage up in, let's see, just a few seconds. I don't know what he's going to go with his next gold, though. If he has 1,100 more, he can buy Vlad's. He can also go for a Manta style first. I think the Vlad's is better. I think since they've been fighting so much with him, he can't really AFK farm. Because DK, I think, has a better late game with Invoker doing much better in the last game. Weaver not really dying, but still contributing to a lot of kills. And Tiny already has his Force Staff too, so he's doing pretty well. I think this is the right build, though. If you go Blink, you don't have enough mana.
Shortest smoke in the history of competitive Dota. And they're going to catch at least one. No, another good hook. Going to catch all of them inside. Down goes Tiny. Actually, no, he didn't drop. He ended up Force Staffing out. So they end up counter-punching after that. That was actually hilarious. They smoked. They couldn't have smoked more than 200 range out of the smoke that was going on from Vici. So they took a few steps.
Like they might get a tower out of it, though. DK needs to react really fast if they want to get this tower. So, looks like Siler is going to...
Nope. Blink away. Bottom tier 2 will be glyphed out. Nether Blast mistimed. There's going to be a reaction. Here comes ROTK. That will be enough to force the back, and DK seemed indecisive there, and it's going to end up costing them a free tower. The tier 1 is above
they thought they could
half.
get a kill on Siler, but they just slight miscue in execution there.
Here comes help. Vici rotating back towards mid. They could end up running across Mushi. Mushi will be spotted out. ROTK with eyes on him and MMY will drop the cogs. Land him there to help D-Ward a bit. But
it's a blast to Roche. That's VG's next plan. DK, can they really take a fight there? Earthshaker actually going for a mech build. Wow, long range toss from Mushi.
And that's going to end up getting him a kill on FY. Fenrir's there, uses the Demonic Purge on Mushi. There's a hook in. Force Staff gets him out of trouble. ROTK still hitting his hooks, but not having nearly the effect he would like. Burning, though.
With 3 Force Staffs up on, or actually only 2 Force Staffs up on DK. That's just, I mean, he's hitting hook shots, but he just can't keep them in place, which is a really big problem. They have to like follow up with a really quick Lina stun or something like that. But Mushi with these tosses completely changes this game around. Gold lead's still slightly in favor of Vici. If they take out this Roshan, I think they can continue to 5-on-5. Else, they should probably wait for Anti-Mage to start farming up a little bit more. Tiny does very, very well versus Anti-Mage in the late game, though, especially considering Anti-Mages usually don't get BKB. It forces them to get BKB, and if you don't, you'll just get craggied all the time.
Craggy exterior. Huge factor in the late game. And the problem is, I mean, the Force Staff on Tiny, you understand. Again, this doesn't seem like much of a carry Tiny, though. I mean, he hasn't even started work on his Ags, and we're 21 minutes in. So all things being equal, it's yes, if you 6-slot them both, he can match up pretty well. But the way he's building is not the way that the Anti-Mage is going to build. The Anti-Mage is going to build his Manta, is going to build his Butterfly.
Here's a Roshan attempt. Do they have anything scouted out? They have Sunstrike, they have Tornado, that's about it. And other than that, it doesn't look. They have Force Spirits too, but Ice just scared to death. TPing back home. This is definitely a easy road for VG. I think they suspect it, but they can't fight without Ice.
Well, Burning doesn't have a TP scroll either way. There's just no way he could get there in time. Vici will bring the big boy down. Big win for them. And Anti-Mage grabs it. Once again, there's going to be another hook. They're going to catch MMY for free. Got off an Earth Spike, but that's a big pick. Let's see if they can do something more with it. Looks like they might want to go, let's see, Siler's going to farm bottom. I was going to say they might want to try to make something happen mid, but respawn timer's still really short. MMY back up in just 20 seconds.
This is still a really close game. Lion, like, he can't be out there. He knows that they're doing Roshan. He wants to fight, but his team's not in position, so they just have to give it up. And that was just an unnecessary death. Burning, another maybe unnecessary death.
BKB popped and shown off. He just purchased it. Just finished it off. FY is going to go ahead and try to get out there. Going to mech him through it. And time-lapse gets Burning back to safety. Siler showed up, but happy to just go back to farming. Now, this is, I mean, at this stage, Merlini, it seems like VG's got 2 choices. They can either bank on the fact that Tiny, there's just no way he's going to out-farm the Anti-Mage. Again, he hasn't built for it. He's not built to do that. Do they decide to continue playing aggressive like they have been, or do they just flat-out go to protecting the Anti-Mage given the position he's in right now with his Yasha now done?
I think they can just play smart, just pick smart fights. They don't have to go all out in aggression. They don't have to pressure the T2s. I mean, they can if they want to with the Aegis. I don't think it's the best move. They need to wait for 2 items. One, Manta on Anti-Mage. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But the bigger thing is going to be the Sheep on the Pugna. And he's building that right now. He's actually much further away. 1,500 gold. He needs like 4,000 away. But once he gets that, they can actually... a little over 3,000. But once he gets that, they can actually start picking off people. They can't really pick off people because they have all these mass Force Staffs. And if someone split pushes like Burning loves to do with his BKB, as we saw, BKB doesn't really matter. If you get hexed up first and just like Lina burst, you're dead. So they can just take it easy. They shouldn't suffer too many losses. But if they pick a fight like this, they should definitely go up.
Came very close as a fissure lock in ROTK. Down goes the Netherward mechs there to keep him up and fighting. DK has 4 in the vicinity, but with the creep wave melted down.
Pushing. They have to retreat very soon.
Yep. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Like, you know, this is what I would label as defensive. They're moving to where DK moves to and just letting Siler do his own thing. The Netherward will end up dropping, but they've got 4 there. Still going to be difficult for them to do this with Siler in such good shape. MMY's there. They're going to teleport Mushi back in. They want the kill, but Siler's so smart. Got out of town just in time.
Yeah, now they're looking for blood, although they don't have Hookshot. Hookshot is the ideal spell to pick off people when they're backing off like that to defend against a split push. The problem with Mushi right now, he can't really split push. He can't really keep up with Anti-Mage's farm, and Tiny is good versus Anti-Mage late game, but is he really geared for farming? No, he gets less than half the CS of Siler right now. He went Force Staff because he thought there was going to be continue to fight, but Vici sees that. They're like, well, Tiny can't farm as fast as I can, especially, I mean, even if I get picked up, I have an Aegis, whatever, or if I die in a team fight. But Mushi, on the other hand, he's like trying to look for kills, but he can't really farm effectively, and he can't find kills, so he's falling behind right now. And Mushi has played fantastically, don't get me wrong. It's just the smart play by Vici is going to keep him like not as relevant as he could be.
I mean, it's more or less what I was saying earlier is he's just not built to do a farming match to go late. He's built to be a team fight monster, to go gank, to go move around, to do things like he's doing right now.
Super, if he gets stunned right now.
Yep, there's the avalanche.
He misses the stun.
And the Fisher's going to be there, burning. Pops the BKB. Here comes Siler, though. Super manages to get the Nether Ward down and will be disrupted. There's a tornado that will not connect. Now Burning, forced to burn his time lapse. ROTK has a hook in 42 seconds. Not going to be in time for this fight. Siler has Mana Void, though. If he wants to up Mushi, using his Force Staff.
Has to be very careful. He can get picked off here. He has his Manta Style, though. He can just pick off London right now.
Yep, there we go. Splits up immediately. Now going to town on Ice Ice Ice. And now Mushi threw in Lanham with the Echo Slam. Did some decent damage, but not nearly enough. We're going to see Lanham taking more damage. Siler is feeling untouched right now. We'll get that kill as a free kill. That's a double kill going his way. And in the meantime, Mushi can do nothing but skirt around the edges. He's very low on mana. Can't even fully combo if he wanted to try to re-engage right now. Burning's going to go ahead and Shikuchi in, but look how brave Siler feels. Bad chain there on the Avalanche and the Tornado. Siler might be able to get away. Nope, Earth Spike is there. Disruption! Fenrir buys him some time. Can he? He will be able to blink to the low ground. In the meantime, FY, Force staffing out. Burning manages to find a kill, as does Ice Ice Ice. So a little bit of hubris on the side of
They should have
Vici.
waited until the Aegis popped,
Yep.
and then they could have re-engaged when he's at full HP, but they didn't need to save him right there.
Siler still has his Aegis, but at what cost? DK looking to take the bottom tier 1 now.
They have a hook shot. They're all really low on mana right now, so if he can like burst down the Invoker or something really quickly, then they can take this fight.
There's a Hex, and Cogs go off. Force Staff gets him out of trouble. Siler trying to pursue him out. Mushi decrepified and slowed. There's a blink past it, and the Mana Void guarantees the kill on MMY. Siler trying to pursue out Burning. Burning with his BKB up. Siler guesses right. Immediate Shikuchi out. ROTK.
Oh, it doesn't have a hook shot.
Yep. And
Burning's
still,
out of mana.
oh, yes, there it is. Super.
Wow.
Max range on. Yep.
Mushi's
life.
gonna get picked off. Oh, he needs mana.
Oh,
Tread's out
there it
right
is.
now.
There it is. Nope, not going to get him now. 60. Only had the mana for one more blink, but
They can push it right now, though. Oh, yeah, the creep wave's up.
Siler's about to lose his Aegis, unfortunately. So that alone should slow him down. 2,400 gold in the bank after what has been essentially a nonstop fight at bottom for the last couple of minutes.
Bonham, oh, if he stops that TV, it's a big fight, but looks like it's still going to be 4-on-4. Lena not as big of a contributor as Weaver, but this tower is falling fast. No one gets hit by a tornado.
And super tossed. Oh, there we go. MMY using Finger of Death. Demonic Purge slows MMY down, so they end up trading 1-for-1, support for support. Ice 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 is up. There's a fissure that locks down Siler momentarily along with Cold Snap. Just taking it in the face. Needs to realize his Aegis is gone. It just was reclaimed seconds ago, and that should be enough to force Vici back, at least temporarily.
Yeah, good trade by MMY there, knowing that he just needs to delay the push until Weaver comes up, and then after that, the push is pretty much squelched, and that comes out from Super. What is that about?
Not happy that that Lion was thrown on his face and then stuck his finger down his throat, apparently. But
Lion has a blade mail too. I guess. Oh, that's for the Pugna ward. He blade mail and the finger hit, and then he got massive burst. So that's actually pretty smart. I think that Pugna could just switch to treads instead. It's kind of a waste of gold. He just needs sheep.
Yep.
More HP.
He's going to have his Mystic Stack up soon. He's already got his Void Stone, so the Sheepstick not horrendously far away at the very least. Certainly a decent little piece, but brief pause. Want to thank everyone once again. This is D2L Season 4 brought to you by Kingston HyperX, our Eastern Division last match of the night, potentially our last game of the night, if VG can hold things together. And they're currently being beaten by DK in terms of kills. The gold, though, still certainly in their favor, the experience in their favor as well. And this is a nice place to be. I mean, if you're at 30 minutes leading in gold, leading in kills, and you have an Anti-Mage, and the only real late-game answer that you have to worry about is a Weaver because the Tiny is built gank-oriented instead of carry-oriented, you're going to be pretty comfortable with that if you're Vici Gaming.
Yes, you do. They need to get the next Roshan, though. That's the next important thing on the agenda for Vici. They got a decent amount of damage on this T3, though. Like, if the Roshan spawns in like 1 minute's time, they can force the fight again without the glyph. That would be very, very good for them. But that's a pretty small timing window. Super on top, just playing safe. Still pretty far away from the sheep. Just needs a full ultimate orb. So a little over 2,000 gold for him. Anti-mage, what is he going to go afterwards? I think he can go heart. I think heart is better than butterfly because they have a hex.
Siler already feeling very, very strong. 4,000 gold, as you said. It's sitting in his inventory. A heart not far out of the realm of possibility. We'll see how long Roshan's going to take. He's actually going to grab a BKB, so assuming that maybe he will have to match up against a craggy exterior on Tiny later on.
That's true.
Just playing it safe, spinning that out, and now we're going to have Roche about ready to respawn. We'll know how long it'll take as Vici just playing very cautiously, running as 5 in their own jungle. Roshan back up in how long? Yep, going to be a $157, so right at 2 minutes as the timer pops up. So at least a little bit longer for that AM to farm before they have to worry about any serious conflict.
Fenrir scouting it out. Unfortunately, not going to be up for a while, bro. Do they have any Necro books on their team? Clockwork has BKB. Pugman kind of needs a BKB too, I think. Maybe. Anti-mage BKB. Blink on Tiny. So this is not a carry Tiny. This is hey, we need to kill people Tiny. Weaver, unfortunately, doesn't really have any damage yet. He is very close to his Desolator, though, which is a pretty big problem for Vici.
With that Blink Dagger pickup, that basically puts DK all in on burning. And, you know, that's a situation in which they're going to feel very comfortable. It's not as if there are many carry players you'd rather be all in on. He will have his Deso up soon, but it's worrisome. I mean, it just really is worrisome to invest that much gold into a mobility item whenever, at this point, Vici is going to be happy to take this game as late as you'll let them. I mean, yes, it's going to give you some initiation advantage. The 4-staff pace for itself and just being able to save yourself and your teammates from Clockwork cogs, but you know, if he starts a very late Ags and just ends up instead of picking up that Blink Dagger, picks up a point booster plus a Ogre Club, I feel a little bit more comfortable for them. Right now, Vici, though, keeping a lockdown on the Roche pit. And
Siler has to be very careful, but Shadow Demon's in a very good position in case they do go on him.
Yep. There's the Hex. Here comes Fenrir, and the disruption's there. He's going to come out firing. Fenrir likely to end up dead. There's BKB on Siler just as soon as he pops out. Trying to jump on Lana. 4-staff used. Mushi uses Avalanche, doesn't matter. BKB would have prevented it anyway, so they took their shot and didn't connect. It's going to be a Roshan backup in just about 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah, Siler needs to farm BKB just in case he dies. Did I say BKB? I meant buyback. He needs to farm buyback in case he dies. He should have it right about now, but if this Roshan fight goes poorly, which it very well could because it's in a very clumped area, Shadow Demon may get picked off very, very early and not being as good as his position as he was that time. Looks like Mushi's looking for a toss right now with MMY. But if he tosses someone across the river, he's dead. Or actually, he's going to blink across and toss someone back, actually. That's probably the more likely case. But both teams just staring at each other. I don't think that either team knows that these wards are there. And they're just like, hey, I know you're there. And then I don't think you know that I'm there. And just stand off. Burning has TP to the left side. Siler could just TP back and do Roshan right now.
Burning moving over. And they saw that Roche was up. The tornado from Ice 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 went in just as Roche responds. So DK should have no question. Lanham's actually working on a 4-staff of his own now. He's the mech carrier as well for DK.
This is bad for DK. Where is Burning? Burning has to be there to defend this Roshan. You can't just give AM a free Aegis again. Oh, no.
And no TP scroll. He couldn't even come into his tier 2 there to cut off time. They're going to spot this out. Siler.
It's too late, I think. Clockwork can just cog right here.
Yep.
What are they going to do? They can't just run past it.
Super right there with him. Roche down. Yeah, they're going to get this. Here comes Mushi. Mushi goes in, tosses on the Roshan. Siler there, as is Super. There's a hook that comes out, and he caught Lanham and MMY. We're going to see the Pugna blown up. Lanham's gone now. Burning, doing what damage he can. However, the Aegis, I actually didn't see who picked it up. Who grabbed that?
Anti-mage.
Yep, thought so. Was trying to find him. There we go. Siler.
First walk, though.
Yeah. Oh, from downtown. ROTK just lobbing grenades and getting the job done. Burning. Yep, and he's got a time lapse if he needs it. Actually has next to no mana now, but Siler just doesn't care. At this point, Vici Gaming has just played as good a game of Dota as we've seen in the Eastern Series so far, my friend.
Yeah, they did not sneak by one. This one was well earned, well fought, and DK didn't play poorly either.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like they had like any throws, any massive like fights that were just like, oh, we should just do this. They didn't overextend. I think their draft was a little bit too confident, but in terms of their playstyle, it's just been really well.
And there's Mushi initiating in, ROTK eating some damage. Sylar caught out front. Ice is right there. Thought about Blakey, thought better of a Demonic Purge on Ice. Sylar heads back to the north. Force Staff gets Mushi up to the high ground. And Fenrir will end up paying the price now. There was a buyback that came out on DK, and the toss back of FY. There's Laguna Blade. Sylar starts to go to work. MMY going to be the target. ROTK gets back involved. Echo Slam does very little. Gem drops. Sylar still has his Aegis and will have it popped. So that's a 4 for 1 so far. Super likely to make it 5. There's a toss right on top of him, burning. Shikuchiing away, and Super still being focused down. He's going to be force-staffed into the woods, trying to chase down Ice. Will get him. Super with Decrepify, bought some time, but not nearly enough. Burning with Alacrity on, not the best target to chase. Looks like Sylar's not done, though. Is continuing to kind of show his face, and just going to go back to farm, and it's fine. Don't worry about it.
4,800 gold right now. Sylar's been playing really well too. Aside from this one pickoff over here, I think he's just he knows when all their cooldowns are up, and he knows when Shadow Demon's around too, so he can go in, and he knows when not to go in. So Sylar is much better than his Alchemist game that he played earlier today. I mean, Sylar's been meshing into this team very, very quickly and very, very well. Definitely a solid pickup over Tutu.
Yeah, completely agree with you. He's really Vici was one of those squads when you watched them, you knew how good they could be, but they just seemed to lack that last piece of the puzzle. They seemed to lack that last little thing, that last little person, or whatever you wanted to call it, that X factor that was going to put them over the edge. And Sylar's playstyle just meshes really well with the playstyle Vici has as a squad. And I definitely agree with you. It's really it's a new team because of him, even though it's 4 out of 5 the same. And
before it was like the big three, right? IG,
right.
LGD, China, and DK, and now like Vici has joined their ranks.
Totally agree. Could not agree with you more. I mean, you can't really neglect Tongfu either. I mean, like that's the thing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Tongfu's there too. There's a lot of competition out there.
Tongfu's one of those teams that just doesn't have the name power for whatever reason. When you look at what they've done over a long enough period of time, they're just damn good. So I would say it's the big. Yeah, that group is getting. There's more and more parity we're beginning to see a little bit in Eastern Dota, I do believe.
I think Sylar actually needs a basher because he's just constantly getting kited by force staffs during his BKB, and that's actually becoming a problem. I think he has enough damage. I mean, Butterfly's not a bad pickup per se because it allows him to just completely survive during his BKB because no one has MKB, and Tiny really has no damage either. But he has a problem just like locking people down though. Tiny with his Ghost Scepter too, it's just gonna continue to be more of a problem as his BKB goes down and charges. 7 seconds on it right now. Looking at Roshan, 4 minutes until the earliest respawn by him. We see DK without a smoke trying to pressure this T1. It's very, very low. They do have the glove, but can they snipe it off in time? I don't know. They're looking to backdoor it, but with that, with Burning revealing themselves, looks like everybody's going to gravitate toward this T1.
Sylar continues to farm up like crazy. We saw him one shot by that Butterfly, and already with another 800 gold or so in his inventory. A basher not far away if and when he does decide he wants him. But this is kind of what we expected, I think. I mean, Vici taking some aggressive maneuvers, but for the most part, they know they're at the advantage here. There is no rush for them to try and close this game out because DK up, hang on, Burning going to be decrepified. There's the Alacrity. They're going to send him back in. Force Staff and the Disruption gets the Pugna out of control or out of trouble. Super there. Now we're going to have a hook onto Mushi. Tornado disjoints it, but Sylar going to work on Lanham. He's going to pop his mechanism. BKB's up on ROTK and Sylar both. Force Staff gets Lanham out of trouble. There's another mech coming up. Earth Spike is there to slow Sylar down. In the meantime, the rest of the fight kind of falls behind. Sylar going to be hexed out, and the disruption there following Finger of Death. He's down to about half health. In the meantime, Mushi manages to find himself a kill. MMY has no more health. Mana Void cleans him up. Mushi, with very little of anything, health or mana, will be blinked on. There's an EMP, and he's going to juke him out. Well played by Mushi. Ducked him in, ducked him out, and left him hanging high and dry. Vici coming away with only one kill that time.
Yeah, a Clockwork initiates in, but by that time there's like 3-4 step. Earthshaker survived that whole entire thing. AM BKB'd on him. He doesn't have a blink dagger on Earthshaker, and was just able to 4-step here, and just get away and manage to kite the duration during BKB. And that was a 7-second one. 6 seconds soon, and then once it gets to 4 seconds, that is just a very short amount of time. They need that sheep stick as soon as possible. And he actually has it out right now, so he just bought it. But if they had it last fight, it would have been completely different.
And we'll see what they can do. Speaking of items coming out, the Anti-Mage again continuing to make massive progress. He's got a Basher basically after this creep wave. And certainly an important item. And yeah, it's going to be close. But yeah, essentially after that creep wave. Here in
I
mid.
don't know if he's going to go Basher. I think he has to save for gold, though, because this next Roshan is really important for them. I believe it's the third one. Is it the third one? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yep.
So Aegis Cheese, and then he doesn't necessarily need a heart if he has a cheese. It's Shadow Demon. It's still a really important role because if you look at AM, he doesn't actually have that much HP. Hex ticked off the butterfly, so 2,000 HP, and he has a lot of armor though. But if he can't pop his BKB, he doesn't get force staffed or hexed disrupted or force staffed by the Shadow Demon. He can very likely fall to look how many stuns they have. They have Cold Snap, they have Echo, Fissure, Enchant, Stun, Toss, Hex, Impale. They have so many stuns for him. He can get caught out, but only if enemies are backing him up.
Just look at the farm Siler is finding absolutely everywhere on this map. Cleaning up Ancients, cleaning up massive farm down here. He's got 4,200 gold again. He could grab a heart very, very soon if he so desires. Super again with that Hex, as you mentioned, it's such a big threat. And I mean, DK, it feels like they're really... This game is a bit more tenuous than I think it even feels, even when you eyeball it. I mean, you could look at the graphs and be like, well, obviously Vici is way ahead. But I don't know that DK has a whole lot more fights to lose before they finally lose the game. Like, they're going to take this top tier 2, and that's great. Get a little map control going their way, basically brings them back to even. In fact, there's no basically to it. They are even now in terms of map control and towers, but Vici just is better geared for the late game coming up.
Yeah, I think so, but DK also had just like so many disables. What do they have on Vici? They have a hook shot barely. They just got their sheep, and Lina has an AoE stun. Other than that, they don't have any lockdown. So Weaver can just run around them. 1750 HP, BKB, Desolator, MKB, and a Vit booster. He is starting to hit hard, and he's survivable enough to the point where he almost always will be able to get off his time lapse. Earthshaker still, I think, needs a blink, but 590 gold. He has Arcane, he has Mech, he has Ghost Scepter, he has Force Staff. He pretty much has everything but a blink.
Roche going to be up just about as far in between spawns as possible. 2 minutes and 50-odd seconds the time. And we are going to see Burning take yet another tower. And looks like
Vici falling behind now with the split push, though. Like one tower there, one tower there. They didn't get anything out of it.
Yep. There's the Abyssal bot straight up. And here we go. Oh, they're going to catch Mushi. Force staffed out. Can they catch up with him? There's a hook onto Lanham. Mushi blown up. Mushi's down. Lanham now caught inside the cogs. Big turnaround here. Mushi has buyback, and he may have to spend it. That's going to be a monster kill for Siler. What a major misstep. Absolutely.
Sheep was a big turning point in this game. Super is farmed it way slower than the last game, but that's exactly the lockdown that they need to pick off any solo hero that's off alone. Looks like Burning may get picked off here. They have a gem on Super. Or no, he actually bought it, but who else is carrying it?
They got him. Got him with a disruption, but opting not to pursue it out. I'm a little surprised right now. This just goes to show you how scared they are of this Roshan.
I think they could have baited out a BKB. Like FY can fake a light strike.
Siler. And yep, there's the shot from Invoker trying to take a look at what's going on. They actually didn't.
Mage picked up a full Abyssal Blade.
Yep, one shot bought it. Saw him walk over and snag it.
And he has a spy back after this creep wave too. Actually, does he have enough 1675?
It's close.
He needs like a little bit more gold. Yeah.
Yep. Needs about another 700, and he'll feel pretty comfortable with his buyback after a death. But
look at his net worth right now, 29,000. And look at Weaver's. That is ridiculous farm. Absolutely ridiculous.
Weaver's just not an anti-mage. I mean, we've seen late game Weavers be disgusting, especially when they do crazy stuff like get lifesteal and then a rapier and so on and so forth. And, you know, Geminate attack makes him so deadly in terms of one-on-one team fight potential, or one-on-one damage, I should say, in team fights. Invoker has found a Hex of his own now, though, so that's going to be a game changer in its own right.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. And Siler, he is still vulnerable. I mean, don't let all these items fool you. Like a couple of hexes, especially well chained, or stuns well chained by DK, and he can go down. But Fenrir, it's all on him. He may be 0, 6, and 12, but he has a very, very important role in this game.
And Lanham
Siler
leading the way near the Roche pit. Vici knows what's up. The Roche is back up. That's going to be spotted immediately. They know what's up, and the smoke's going to be popped. Oh, FY is trapped. He's trapped. They can't find him. Oh, there we go. Light Striker Ray caught a couple, and he's going to look at a blade, force staff out. Beautiful hook shot in. Cogs go down. Siler there to help clean up shop. And don't know if he was trapped. Don't know if it was bait. All I know is FY just hit the shot of the game with that Light Striker Ray. He was
really did.
He was hammering the stop button to stop his auto attack from going off. And I don't know if he just kind of got trapped there and hid there as long as he could, then took the shot, or if that was the plan. Either way,
he forces down Weaver with that stun though.
Yep.
He just blink abyssal, boom, he's dead. And like that was just the most important stun I've seen today. And like Lina, I mean, usually you don't think the hands of the game are in, or the fate of the game is the hands of Lina, but it really was right there. FY, these supports just continuing to impress.
And getting a little bit of server lag. I'm sure I'll catch up in a minute if there's a fight going on. Commentator Merlini.
Siler looks like he's pushing out. There's a glyph. Hook from ROTK goes on. Ice dies. Does he have a buyback? No, he does not, since he just bought a sheep. Siler pushing away at the C3. It falls very quickly. Melee soon to follow. They only have 3 up on the side of DK. Weaver revives in 15 seconds, but they're going to suffer very, very heavy building losses before that. ROTK, no scepter yet. Are you back in?
Yeah, I'm back in. It catches up. It's better than it was. It has been. It kind of goes out for 10 seconds. It comes back, but looks like I didn't miss all that much. In fact, I'm just Siler. Actually, we're going to see Lina blown up by MMY. Now ROTK caught out with the Hex. Can they force Siler out? Burning's there with the BKB popped. Damage being done. And they got the other axe. They actually managed to get it with an anti-mage illusion. Fenrir's there with the disruption. They're going to try to jump Mushi and successfully jump him as the Hex was there. Burning. Now forced back. MMY going to be caught with the Abyssal. Forced that by some time. And the Hex as well. There's a missed hook from ROTK. Echo Slam does very little. The BKBs help mitigate it at least a bit. Siler hits the man. Avoided. Got 2 with it. Got 2 with it. Looked like, GG. Vici Gaming is legit. You think maybe Siler was the missing piece and maybe they're doing all right with him?
Yeah, there are new world-class supports in town. I wouldn't even say they're new, but Fenrir, FY, just definite MVP. But I mean, Siler did what Siler does, but those 2 supports just like kept them in the game right there. ROTK MVP first 20 minutes, Fenrir FY MVP like 20 minutes onwards. That one stun by FY just completely blew the game wide open, and DK just could not recover from that. And they just ran the exact same strategy, and DK just did the exact same thing too.
Yep.
Like what?
They want a rematch, man. It's a run back, using a fighting game term. Nothing but a run back on the way. But great play out of Vici Gaming, and there are a lot of people out there. I don't know if you were trolling or not. You really have your rares on Vici?
I did.
There you go.
What, 14.2 rares?
That's right. There's a lot of folks out there that had faith in Vici Gaming that are going to be swimming in rares, looking like Scrooge McDuck in the money bin. But except instead of gold coins, it's pixels. Delicious, amazing hats and pixels.
DK has to adapt more. They pick too much of the same stuff. Earthshaker, Invoker, and like they also give like these weird carries to Burning. Why don't they just give him AM or something like that? A Spectre. Like why Weaver or Potom, they like can escape, but can they really carry? No, not as far as I've seen.
No, I completely agree with you. That's something they've been doing for a while too. And you understand it, but it's an effort to get that player more involved instead of running a 4 protect 1. I mean, a Weaver can show up to a fight at just about any stage of the game so long as he hasn't fed a lot or so long as he has at least got an item or 2. But sometimes it's just better to just say screw it. We've got an amazing tiny player in Mushi. We've got great picks. We've got a hell of an Invoker whenever he doesn't start out the game 0-3. And Ice. We're okay with just letting an anti-mage farm. I'll tell you who's okay with it. It's Vici. Vici let the anti-mage farm to the tune of 15-2 by the time all was said and done. 813 gold per minute for Siler by the time the game ends, and 706 XP per minute. Vici Gaming pulls the upset, and DK takes their second loss here in the Eastern Division. An Eastern Division, which, if we're to be honest, if you were to read the community feedback when we announced this, most people expected DK to walk away with a first-place finish. Now, not to say that they're in serious threat of not making the playoffs, but they're definitely in contention. There are definitely some things that could go wrong that could put them in jeopardy. Vici Gaming, on the other hand, notches 2 wins tonight, and they improve to 4-1, and suddenly they're ahead of everyone save for LGD, looking really solid as we look to finish out the Eastern Division over the next couple of days. The final game time, 46 minutes, 2 seconds, 29-35, the final kill score. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. And, of course, want to thank you once again, Merlini, for being a part of the broadcast. I'm going to got to turn that off. I hate it whenever the scoreboard screen freezes with a loud sound. Anyway, Merlini, my friend, it's been an absolute pleasure. You and I are back. Let's see, what time is it? It's coming up on 2 a.m. We're back in 7 hours to kick off the Western Division. You excited?
Oh, yeah.
Can't
Western
wait.
Dota.
Gonna be good stuff.
I mean, Eastern Dota has not been boring at all. That was a very exciting series. A very exciting day, actually. It was even the ones that I didn't expect to be that good were still pretty good games.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, sometimes, let's be honest, even as casters, we have our anticipation as to what series are going to be more exciting than those. I was really looking forward to the Vici Gaming DK series, and turned out to live up to the hype.
They are for real.
No joke, man. No joke. So before we depart, I'm going to go home and try to get a few hours sleep before I have to be back in the office here in a few hours. But before we depart, Merlini, once again, thank you as always, and let the fine folks know where they can find out more about you. Of course, you've got a lot to offer all of the people, no matter what their skill level of Dota happens to be.
Thank you, AC, for your fantastic casting. You can find me at twitter.com/MerliniDota, Facebook, YouTube, all the same, /MerliniDota. And my personal stream is twitch.tv, MerliniDota. Everything, MerliniDota.
There you go.
One more time.
Merlini Dota, that's right. You can find me at AC, and I always screw it up because I forget the camera reverse is what I do. I'm at AC on Twitter. You can find me on twitch.tv/ACTV. Facebook and YouTube, it's ACTV as well. And hopefully, lots of stuff going on all of our various outlets coming up soon. Once again, guys, don't forget, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. In just 7 hours from now, we kick off the Western Division. Na'Vi and Alliance both are going to be in action. Not playing each other, unfortunately. It'll be, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be Na'Vi versus Virtus Pro, or Alliance versus Virtus Pro, and then the other team versus Mouse Sports. Okay, Alliance versus Virtus Pro, and Na'Vi versus Mouse Sports. So looking forward to that, and can't wait to get that underway. And then it'll be 7-day-a-week action here on the D2L pretty much from that point forward. And a lot of days are going to be overlapped like this, where we have just about round-the-clock coverage for you. So make sure you check out D2L on the web, d2l.gg, for all of the information, all of our schedules and all that. And catch us on Twitter at D2LGG, and on Facebook, all of those fun social media networks that our sponsors love so much. Any final thoughts on your way out the door, my friend?
Looking forward to the Western games and the rest of the Eastern games too. Just been a very exciting D2L season thus far. 6.79 has just so much excitement, so many good games.
Been a blast, and looking forward to having you guys back as well. Again, make sure you're back 7 hours from now. We'll have the West kicking off, and then once the West completes, usually around 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll have time to go grab a nap in the bathroom. I'll sleep in the bathtub or something, and then be back on the mic starting at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our second play day of Eastern Dota. Can't wait until then. This is the HyperX D2L, brought to you in part by, of course, our lead sponsor, Kingston HyperX, Monster Energy, Astro headsets, Razer, of course. I always seem to forget that. Awesome. Check them out, support them. Thank Kingston for this amazing tournament we get to have, and can't wait to get things back underway. We'll see you soon, guys. Enjoy your evening, morning, or afternoon, and enjoy some Dota.